Welcome back to the Straw Hat Duo. My name's Charlie, and last week we were not able to talk about chapter 1052 because we were out of state. I was hoping we'd be able to record, but it turned out we had no time to. It was a very busy vacation. Just briefly going over it, it was kind of a crossover chapter type thing. A lot of information was put out about Big Mom, Kaido being defeated, it being announced to the world, the 1% survival rate for a character ended up being Hawkins himself. Luffy and Zoro woke up. It was pretty much just mostly good news. Momo had a little instance there with Nami, and Sanji and Brook kind of got all smug, being like, welcome to having no special privileges. Yeah, when Luffy and Zoro woke up, this was probably the highlight of the chapter. Luffy screams out meat, and Zoro screamed out booze. You know, their normal stuff. They started stuffing their face, and it was announced that there was going to be a big festival in Wano due to the Kozuki clan coming back to shogunship, I guess you would call it, but them becoming the shoguns again. And that was pretty much the gist of last chapter. This chapter is also a bit of exposition. Also, last chapter we found out that Rogo, or the new Admiral Green Bull, was heading to Wano. We heard a little bit more about that in this chapter, the chapter we're going over today. Chapter 1053, The New Emperors. That's another thing we learned. In the last chapter, there were, I believe it was last chapter, the new 4 emperors have been named. This chapter we also get the bounty increase for Luffy, Law, and Kid. Little spoiler alert, all of them go up to 3 billion and are credited with defeating Big Mom and Kaido. It doesn't seem like Luffy got just all the credit. It seems like all of the credit was split between the 3 of them. So this chapter starts out in Marijois, where the Gorosei are freaking out about the wanted poster. They're like, what's the meaning of this photo? You know, we never approved this. Why is it like this? And it's a picture of Luffy in his Gear 5th form. And the Marines are like, well, sorry, we weren't told about it, and they're not answering, so we can't stop it, and that's the photo that was sent by CP0. Gorosei are like, reprint it. We can't have this. And, the Marines are like, sorry, we can't. And Morgans is just sitting there, laughing maniacally, going, what a mystifying appearance. All right, it's up to us to spread this around the globe. And he says that Cypherpole's transmission broke off right after they spotted Big Mom's ship. So Big News Morgan's flat out saying, the government isn't going to stop us from printing these stories. Their propaganda isn't going to stop this. It's a great story. So then we get a double-page spread, and Morgan is like, it's like a live show. I can't get enough of it. And then we see some news flashes from around the world, it seems. And in one of them, Sabo is up on a wall, like a picture of Sabo, not Sabo himself. And it's pretty much the world reacting to the fact that Big Mom and Kaido have been defeated. And the 3 people who defeated them were all issued a giant bounty by the world government. Monkey D. Luffy, Eustace Captain Kidd, and Trafalgar Law are now worth 3 billion berry apiece. We cut to then over at Wano to, I believe it's Law and Kid reacting, and their crews at least reacting. 3 billion. Boss, that's amazing, Captain. Then Apu looks over and he's like, where did Kid run off to? He had a funny look in his eyes. That's when Killer responds with, well, he's got to be going to the flower capital. This is Kid after all, and, he's probably got one thing on his mind. Little spoiler alert, he wants to beat up Luffy. Then his crew's like, yeah, there's a festival there. Let's go join him. Law's just sitting there kind of being himself. And he's like, looks like things are getting complicated. Next page, we see that the cook in the palace, it's where the Shogun stays. Well, the cook is sitting there meticulously creating a large dish for everybody. And he finally, comes out, puts it all out. He's like, it's truly a full course meal fit for a shogun. It took me forever to put this all together. And he plates everything out, looks into the mess hall, and goes, please enjoy. There's like probably 20 placemats for everybody, and Jinbei's the only one there. And he's like, it looks delicious. Thanks for the effort. But the others couldn't be bothered to wait the full 2 hours. So, sorry. sorry for all your work. And then he's like, yeah, from the sounds of it out there, though, it sounds like they're really going to town, having a good time. Then we cut over to the festival where Chopper, Yamato, and Luffy are just having a blast. You know, they're eating to their heart's content. They find out that everything's free, so they're just going at it. Chocolate banana, goldfish scooping, shooting games, yakisoba, teriyaki, grilled squid, candy apples, Chopper's favorite cotton candy. You know, it's a very crazy festival. Everybody's having a blast. And then we see Brook come out with Hiyori, and Brook's like, yeah, let's go. This next number was a favorite of Brother Odin. It's called Moon Princess. So Brook and Hiyori are doing like a rock cover, I guess, of the song, and everybody's all happy about that. So then we cut over to the castle basement where Robin is, and Tengu is walking down, notices her. He goes, oh, Nico Robin. Robin goes, how do you know my name, Tengu-san? And then Tengu's like, yeah, well, you're looking at my personal collection of Koshi dolls. The Koshi dolls? Yeah, I don't know. They're like little wooden carved dolls. And, you know, Tengu's like, yeah, that's my personal collection. You know, that was a secret hobby of mine. And he's like, yeah, aren't they cute? Robin's like, yeah, not really. They're actually kind of creepy. And Tengu's like, what? You know, that was my hobby. And then Robin asks the obvious question. Well, why would your secret collection of a hobby be down in the basement of the castle? And Tengu's like, I ended up in prison down here for a number of years. And Robin's like, imprisoned? I thought you were a swordsmith. Who exactly are you? Tengu's like, yeah, well, you know, I took to smithing because, you know, I had a talent for it. I had a knack for it. You know, I was gifted with it. But it was always just a hobby. I was never, you know, a paid swordsmith. And he said, governing is such weary work, after all. And this kind of shocks Robin. And then Tengu takes his mask off. And Robin is just shocked. Tengu's like, I am Kozuki Sukiyaki, father of Kozuki Odin. He is the shogun that Orochi killed, supposedly, and took over from. And Robin's like, yeah, does Momo know that, you know, his grandfather's still alive? You know, that might be a good thing for him to know. And Sukiyaki's like, yeah, he doesn't. And I don't really plan on telling him either. I would not be surprised if some of his retainers may have deducted my identity, but couldn't really face him now. You know, my honor's been broken. You know, I couldn't stop Orochi. By the time I finally got free, Odin was dead, my son, and he was barely able to escape. And he contemplated committing seppuku. Then he met Otama. But Robin's like, yeah, okay, let's just cut to the chase. It should be somewhere in this country, right? The ancient weapon Pluton. Sukiyaki's like, is shocked that Robin may know anything about that. And then she's like, that's what the poneglyph said in Alabasta anyways. And Tengu's like, yeah, it is here. And then we cut away. So, you know, maybe we'll find out about that in a month when One Piece comes back. Probably not. We'll probably find out about that, you know, 3 months from now. When everybody's forgotten about it. Nobody's going to forget about that. We've found 2 of the ancient weapons now. So, you know, that's a big discovery. So then we cut over to the former prison mine of Udon. And there's trees growing everywhere, flowers growing everywhere. Then we see all the people there with roots just stabbed through them. And it looks like they're just drained of all their nutrients. It looks like, if you've ever followed DBZ, when Cell sucked the life energy out of things with his tail. So then we see King and Queen, who were still alive, may not be after this. They have the roots stabbed into them as well, and their nutrients is being sucked out. Queen's like, hey, a post-diet physique doesn't fit me, you hear? He's like real skinny now. King's just kind of man of a few words, just grunting. And then we see Green Bull, and he's just stomping on Queen. He's like, give it a rest already. If, you know, I couldn't take the likes of you guys down, you know, a couple commanders of a Yonko crew, then what kind of admiral would I be? Can't get the best of me. Navy doesn't have enough manpower to waste on the mess you've left us. Not that I expected much of you bozos. He's got his roots, which is from him, like kind of punched through barrel of booze, and he's like, yeah, booze wasn't anything special. You guys should have let it rest longer. And then he's got a transponder snail that starts ringing, and we see like a full picture of him. He's got, you know, no shirt on, real buff, kind of skinny. He's got a sword on his hip, and he's smoking a cigarette. It says, Navy Headquarters Admiral Rogoku, and it seems like his name is Aramaki. He answers the snail. He's like, hello, this is... He cuts off whoever's on the other side. Like, yeah, I'm in Wano. Bring a warship over. And they're like, huh? What? Oh? And then he's like, yeah, don't tell Sakasuki, though, what I'm up to. You see? And then he hangs up on the person and kind of talks to himself. And he goes, I've always dug his style. No half measures. I'm itching to get his approval. I can see it now. He's sure to give me an attaboy if I bring him this brat's head. And he holds up a wanted poster of Luffy. Oh, another quick little spoiler. Wano does not end in this chapter. There's a big theory, big news going around, so to say, that Wano was ending chapter 1053. Not happening. Definitely didn't end here. So then we cut back over to the Flower Capital. Everybody's singing. Everybody's having a good time. Then we see kind of a flashback Momo's having. And Luffy's like, hey, don't tell anybody about me in Wano. And Momo's like, why? Luffy's answer is, because I don't want to be a hero. And then we see Kid get to the capital, and he yells, Straw Hat, if I crush you here. Luffy's like, Jaggy! Gets all happy, stretches his arm out, wraps it around his neck, and, pulls him to him. And right as that's happening, they light some fireworks. Luffy pulls Kid to him and says, here we go, watch this. Kind of pulls him into a side hug. And goes, cheers! Let's drink and party till dawn. This is a double page spread. We have most of the Straw Hats there. Everybody's, and some of the retainers. Raizo's in the back crying, but everybody else is just happy, having a good time. Carrot's there jumping for joy. And then we see a few of the other samurai. They're like, yeah, the pirates sure are rowdy, They're like, yeah, this is the biggest and wildest festival I've ever seen. So then we get to the last page of the chapter, which this page is huge. They announced the new 4 emperors on this page. So we see Beppo and Law's crew partying, Killer and Kid's crew partying. Killer finally breaks loose of Luffy and says, I don't want nothing to do with this crap. See here, I came to kill you. I don't really know what's going on outside, but they've announced the names of the 4 new emperors. And he shows Luffy the paper, and Luffy's eyes pop out of his head. And before I announce the new emperors, we see Green Bull walking to the Flower Capital, and he's like, they're really going hog wild out there. Music and festivals. Well, we Marines aren't in such a good mood, especially since the rest of the world's a real mess now. So, right above that, which takes up the biggest part of the double page spread, we see the new 4 emperors are Blackbeard, Marshall D. Teach, Red Hair Shanks. Which one should I do last? Well, we'll do this one. Straw Hat Luffy. Luffy is now one of the emperors. And the 4th emperor is the Bombastic Clown Buggy. I have no idea how Buggy got into being one of the 4 emperors, but it's definitely interesting. I'm sure Rayleigh, Silver's Rayleigh, is just looking at this going, wow, this really is a new generation. 2 of the pirates that were on my ship when I was vice captain of the Roger Pirates are emperors, and the guy I trained for 6 months is an emperor. Times really have changed. But yeah, Luffy is an emperor. He's one step away from being the Pirate King. I have a feeling the Straw Hat Grand Fleet is going to have a bit more to do with the story, because Shanks is the only... Well, Blackbeard has the biggest crew now of all the emperors, I'm pretty sure. Shanks is a pretty small crew. Buggy has a lot of people, but he's got a pretty small core crew. Luffy, he's got his crew, and we still don't have an answer on if Yamato's going to join. Also, one more thing. Ashura and Izo. Ashura and Izo died in their battle, so that's another big thing that was announced last chapter. Those two, they'll have grave next to Oden. So this was a huge chapter, and fitting for a month break, I suppose. For the next month, we will definitely figure out something to put out. Shayna is in Eni's lobby now with the anime, So she's enjoying that. We'll see if we get something out about that soon. Let me know what you guys thought about this chapter. Do you think Luffy's ready to be an emperor? Do you think he can hold his spot as an emperor? Do you think that maybe him and Shanks will be meeting now? And if they do, how will the government react to that? But, I mean, there's also the question of what's Green Bull going to do in Wano? You know, is he going to get to Luffy? Is Kid and Law going to help defend Luffy? Because Green Bull's just there for Luffy, it seems. He doesn't care about the other two. He just wants to take out an emperor, it seems, to, you know, have an attaboy from Sakazuki. But he also doesn't believe in half measures, and Green Bull seemed to have taken out King and Queen pretty easily. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the next chapter. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.